Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to Fernvalley Farm's YouTube channel. If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Vince. Welcome to the channel. Like I always say on this channel, we are all country, beekeeping, horses, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, what I want to talk about today, if you're, people want to say your honey can't go bad. Well, guess what? It did, but there's a reason why it went bad. If you look at this honey here, can you see it? If you go back and watch my video on my Maxent wax melter / clarifier, I'll put a card up here, actually over here. I gotta use this hand. When you use this hand, it doesn't come out the right side. Anyways, on this side, I'll put a card up there for the Maxent wax melter / clarifier. What it does, go watch the video. It's a big tank that heats up with water. You put your 5-gallon pail in there, and if your honey, like I keep my honey in the basement, it gets cold. So what you want to do, when it gets really cold, you got to kind of loosen it up. I also did a video, which you can check out, I'll put at the end of this video, how to uncrystallize your honey, which is basically putting it in a pot of water, boiling it really low and slow until it loosens up, and then you're good to go. Because like I said, when the honey gets cold, it gets harder to crystallizes. So you need to uncrystallize it. Well, what I did, like I said, if you look at that video, I put the pail in there. When you pull that pail back out, there's a lot of moisture around there. The only thing I could think of is when I unscrewed the lid, because I bottled a whole bunch more bottles of honey, maybe some water fell down in there and it got into this bottle. This was maybe the very last part of it, or water dripped in there and I wasn't paying attention. Because what happened was, somebody wanted some honey, I went to the cabinet to get some, and I pulled this bottle and I'm looking at it, it's like water. I'm like, what the heck? Honey doesn't go bad. Well, it does. So what I did is I opened it, and when I opened it, it actually popped. And if you smell it, it smells like sour honey. It's like, wow, I didn't think honey can go bad, but guess what? It can. It gets enough moisture in it, it can. And one way, because when you're harvesting your honey, when you go into your hives and you pull out your, whichever frames you're using for honey, whether it's your deeps or your mediums, when you pull your frames out, if the honey is not capped, don't harvest it. If it's not capped, that means the bees haven't pulled all the moisture out of it. If it's capped, if it's got a white capping over it, that means the bees have pulled all the moisture out of the honey and it's at the proper content. So that's when you want to harvest it. Now you got a frame that's, let's say, 3/4 capped, and you got a little patch in the middle that's not, it's still open, you'll be okay. But if you got like 3/4 uncapped and 1 part capped, I wouldn't do it. Because there's still a lot of moisture in that honey. You'll know when it's ready, because the bees will let you know when it's ready. They'll have it all capped. So if you look into your honey supers and you see white cappings all down the lines, them frames are ready to go. That means the bees have pulled all the moisture out. One way you can check your moisture level in your honey is you can get yourself one of these refractometers. And these things are all over eBay. You can find them. They're not that expensive. What this does is it measures the moisture content in the honey. You look through here, there's a scale in there. There's 3 scales. I forget what the other 2 read, but one of them reads the moisture content. And I actually made a video on this back in the fall, and I tried to show it through the camera, and I think I kind of got it, but it didn't come out really well. Your moisture content in your honey should be right around 17 to 18%. Then you know you're good. But like I said, if you're harvesting your honey and you pull your frames, and they're all white capped, it's basically ready to go. I mean, the bees have pulled all the moisture out of it, they've capped it, your honey's ready to go. But if you want to just double check it, you can get yourself a refractometer, put a little dab of honey on here, you look through here in the light, and you can read it. So what I'm going to do, which will be the first time here, I haven't done this yet, I was waiting until I made this video. Let me get a little knife here. I'll take a little butter knife, and I'll put a little bit on the end of this thing. This is sticky. This bottle's all sticky. So what you do, and obviously we know the moisture content in this honey is really high because it's like liquid. You just take it and you put a little bit you just put it on the front like that. You'll take the little plastic lid, push it down, and you look in the sunlight. It's even got an adjustment on here for focus. And you put it towards the light, and you read what it says. Gee, what a surprise. Moisture content in honey should be 17, 18, 19, somewhere right around there. This is reading 25%. Gee, what a surprise, right? So obviously we know the moisture level of this honey is high, but that's the first time I did this. I wanted to do it when I made this video. So, obviously, like I said, when I pulled that pail out, and I unscrewed the lid, there's a lot, that tank builds up a lot of heat in there, a lot of condensation. I must have picked the lid up and got too much condensation inside the pail. It's the only thing I could think of, but I bottled the rest of it and it was fine. Unless this was right, and I don't remember when this one was bottled, obviously. Unless it was right at the very end of the last part of the bucket, because you know, when you got your valve, you open your valve, you tip your bucket forward. Maybe there was some moisture in there, some water in there, and this is the last one that got bottled. I don't remember. But all I know is this thing. Oh, this is sticky. All I know, and see how it's kind of even got like a white color when I open it, let some air to it. See how it's kind of white? That's not necessarily just the cappings. See how it's turned white now since I opened it up? It's really bizarre. And like I said, it's got kind of a funny smell to it. It smells sour. It smells like sour honey. So obviously you don't want to eat it. So just make sure you don't get any moisture or any water in your honey. Like I said, if you have some that's kind of crystallized, or you bought some from somebody that's been sitting in your cabinet for years, and it's getting a little hard, just take a pot of water and check out. I'll put that video at the end of this. Check out that video. Check out that video. Just take the honey, put it in a pan of water, warm water. You can get it boiling and just turn it down. Put your bottle in there and just kind of move your bottle around. You'll see the honey. You'll see it start to loosen up. Just don't. I made the mistake one time. I left one bottle in too long, and the only thing that happened, the honey was fine, but the bottle kind of buckled because it got too hot. So I wound up having to take that honey out of that bottle because the bottom, it like buckled out. It wouldn't sit flat. So obviously I couldn't sell that bottle. I just wound up putting it in a different bottle. It was perfectly fine. It just, the bottle just got too hot. I just made a mistake with that. So just boil it slowly. It'll loosen right up because this. Hold on. This is what it should look like. See how nice, I don't know if you can see. See how slow that is? See that? That's what your honey's supposed to do, and that's the color it's supposed to be. How nice this is. This honey tastes awesome. My bees do a really good job. It ain't supposed to look like this. I mean, look at that. You just let air get to it. Look at it, it's like water. Can you see it? It's like water. Really weird. So anyways, the moral of my story is don't get water in your honey. Can your honey go bad? Yeah, I guess it can if you get too much water in it. But honey, if it's not like that, can sit for years and it's perfectly fine. I guess there's been honey found from, I could be wrong, but like back in Roman times they found honey somewhere. So honey can just, it never goes bad. So anyways, that's pretty much it. Just make sure you don't get any water in your honey when you're processing it, or if you have like something similar to what I have, like that Maxon tank, which I love that tank. Just don't let any water drip in there. So if you do see some at the bottom, then just throw it out. We're just going to turn it to this. And ain't that fun? Ain't that weird how the air got to it? As soon as I opened it, look at it, turn like white. So I was going to dump this out actually, but I think I'm going to keep this as like an example. I'm not going to dump it out. This is what can happen when your honey goes bad. So unless it really gets kind of potent, then I'll just pour it out. But I'm just going to kind of leave it. And I'm going to actually see if that kind of goes away, if it goes back to a normal color after it sits for a while. So anyways, that's my story. Don't get any water in your honey when you're processing it. If it does crystallize, put it in some warm water. Like I said, check out that video, how to loosen up your honey. So I think I've pretty much covered everything. And like I said, if you want to get one of these refractometers, go online. I found this on eBay. It was like 20 bucks. They're pretty cheap. The prices are kind of all over the place, but they all are this kind. So just go on, just shop, and unless you go on eBay and look for the best price. And that's where I got mine. It works perfectly fine. Brand new. So that is it. Any questions, comments, please leave them. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Hit this little button right here, subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. When you do subscribe, hit that little bell next to the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Thanks to my new subscribers, you know who you are. And I'm going to put a little survey card up on top here at the end of the video. If this has happened to anybody else, I'd be curious to know if it has, how many people this maybe has happened to. So I think that's it. So YouTube, I will talk to you later. All right, bye.